So you ever notice like there is an increase in dementia? Like people, like our grandparents, typically their age, or even our aunts, like their parents, are experiencing dementia at like, I don't want to say alarming rates because it's always been a thing, but it feels like we're hearing more about it, right? And so, doctors say they don't know what causes it, but I decided to do some research myself. And here's what I discovered. So, dementia, salinity, essentially, like, being senile, it really just means you're crazy. It means you are going crazy. Why? Because your mental faculties are compromised. Your brain is literally eating itself. Your brain is eating the area where your memories are stored. This is why most dementia patients, which should not be confused with Alzheimer's, but most dementia patients, they forget who you are. So I discovered that one of the leading causes of dementia is an increase of mercury in the body. Now, when you have an increase of mercury in the body, it actually increases the iodine in your blood. And an increase of iodine in your blood causes your mental faculties to become compromised. Now, everyone says, okay, you get amalgam, or those metal feelings when you go to the dentist, and that's what causes mercury, or it's in the toothpaste or whatever. And it makes me think back to that Marvin Gaye song, the ecology song, the Mercy Mercy Me. It's probably one of my favorite songs when he talks about radiation in the ground, mercury in the sea, right? Like, we don't talk about how animals in the sea, fish and things of that nature, have an abundance of mercury in them. And so then it got me thinking, okay, which animals have the most mercury? Any animal in the sea that does not have a scale has a lot of mercury. Now, you may say, well, what about the animals with shells? Because we don't eat the animal's shell. We eat we don't eat the chitin, which is what causes the shell to be hard. We eat the actual meat. Same with fishes. When we bite into a fish without scales, we're literally eating the tissue. Now, what is the purpose of scales? So God designed fish with scales and fish without scales, animals with scales and animals without scales. The animals without scales are the decomposers. They are typically the vacuum cleaners of the ocean. Because God knew we would start tampering with things and causing oil spills and dumping chemical waste in the oceans, which is our primary place of where our food is. So he created animals that don't have scales that will literally are able to survive and clean up the waste. And then you have fish with scales. So the scales act as a protective barrier from the poisons in the water. Most of us don't eat fish with scales. Most of us eat decomposers.